Hello, everybody. Hope your week is going well. Back at it with another video. So, I got my MP3 player and I've been going through some of my old hard drives and computers and found some old music where I had downloaded a bunch of MP3s. And I found some of my old music. I used to make a lot of hip hop beats, used to rap, and listening to it, there's moments where it's cringe, but it's also moments of, hey, this is pretty good. And I always thought to myself, if I just stuck with it, the biggest lie I was told was going to college. I wasted precious time going to college for something I didn't really care about, where I could have been just focusing on what I really cared about, which was music. And I could have had some success because this was pre internet age, or this is right when the internet was really taking off, or social media was taking off. I would have probably got got popular or blew up on SoundCloud or something because I had a lot of music, a lot of material. I just never finished it, never completed my projects. And part of me feels regretful that I didn't do what I was truly passionate about. But another part of me also thinks, well, maybe I was being saved, being protected, that I didn't go down that route. Because who would have known if I ever came to Christ, if I became some musical artist? And music's something that's tricky for me. I still wrestle with music. I still, I take delight in music, but then I'm always, as a Catholic, always watching if the content I'm consuming is sinful or not. And I get paranoid. Sometimes I get scrupulous, but other times there's a fair point. Like the music with high vibration, high BPM, it appeals to our concupiscence. So it's not sinful in itself unless the words are impure. But sometimes the music, and I like electronic music, I like house music, I like hip hop. I've had to renounce a lot of that. Anything where it starts getting impure and immodest. Although there's some good music out there that's the lyrics are more cleaner, but even that can be, it can appeal to your emotions and your concupiscence. And if you get, I guess it's just like anything else, too much of something is not a good thing. Especially like there's songs. I like 80s music. I like synth pop a lot. I like Depeche Mode, stuff like that. Like they have a song called Personal Jesus, and I'm thinking like, is this blasphemous? Is this taking our Lord's name in vain? Or are they just like, the message that they're trying to say is like, or are they actually giving like worship to Jesus? Or some other songs, like pop songs, they talk about love and these feelings and these emotions and being kind of obsessed with love and heartache, and love for another person, it becomes an idol. Or they talk about some songs talk about experiences with relationships, singing about kind of like the emotions and the fantasies they have, seeking love. But a lot of the a lot of the songs about love, it's like it's not real. It's just an emotion that they think is love, and they make that an idol. But also, so like I'll hear a good song talks about love, singing about their experience with love, and the lyrics will be like, I'll never leave you, or I want to be loyal, I want to give everything up for you, stuff like that. And then I like to look up the band or the artist's name. I like to read their bios. I'm always fascinated with like music history. I like to learn about when how they came to be popular, how they got their big break, when they produced their albums and stuff. And then I read their personal life. I think it's so interesting how people become famous and then in the music scene. And a lot of these artists, it's like they've had multiple marriages, multiple divorces, affairs, or whatever. It's like it's so hard to find a famous artist that got married. And this goes for actors too. That had like got married and had a successful marriage. They're always divorced. They have kids with different spouses. And so the music that they make is just a reflection. Like it's not reflecting reality of what true love is. Because we think of love in a Catholic perspective, we think of willing the good of the other and also making a commitment, a vow, a matrimony, taking marriage very serious, that it is a unitive bond that cannot be separated until death. Well, clearly, all these musicians that talk about love, they don't understand true love. I think, especially because a lot of these songs, for example, I was looking up Anita Baker because I had her album, and a lot of those songs she's singing about love. It's like good soul music. It sounds good. I like the smooth jazz stuff, and she's got a soulful voice and everything. She's speaking on love. She's recording these songs in her early 20s and 30s, and it's like your idea of love, especially in a secular sense, you all you know is that emotion. Especially like in your early 20s, you think you love someone, and you speak on that emotion. But true love perseveres, and true love, it perseveres through time, and you get to know what love is. Love grows over time because of your commitment and your sacrifice to the other person. Whereas a lot of the music, it's just caught up in the moment, which ultimately fades. That's why pop musicians like Taylor Swift, how much of her music is about love? I don't really listen to her. I don't know all her lyrics, but it seems like she's always singing about love and romance. And maybe there's that difference between romance and love, but they're singing about love, but really is romance, I think. Yet, how many guys is she singing about? All these experiences. Think back to like Britney Spears. Um, she has a song, "Crazy." You drive me crazy. She probably wrote that when she was like 18, 19, 20. It's like your hormones as a young adult is going through the roof, and you're obsessed with this romance of people. And of course, these musicians, they kind of lose it when they get to their 30s and 40s and 50s. They're jaded, and it's not just because like it's not just because they grew older. I mean, part of it is because they're celebrities and they had to deal with the media, and their lives are different than ours. You see what happens with Britney Spears, how she went crazy or had a mental breakdown, I should say. And you become jaded. So that's I think a lot of musicians and artists and famous people, they deal with that stuff. Very few of them have had successful marriages. I can't think of any. So I think going back to like me going down the music route, that temptation is too strong, perhaps. And it's probably God protecting me that I didn't pursue that. Although I love music, I love listening to music, but it's just something nowadays where I have to be careful. Because if it's impure, like I just can't listen to it. And I don't want to tempt myself, but a lot of times I do. I convince myself it's okay. Like the music sounds good, the instrumental sounds good, the beat sounds good. If they say some impure stuff, I'll just like ignore it. There's just not a lot of good music out these days. Hmm. And then I also think about, should I even be listening to musicians? They make good music, but especially the ones that pass away, I think about like, where are their souls now? Where are they now? And if they weren't Catholic, or should we be entertaining their music? I know one thing is like separating the art from the artist. He might make something that's beautiful, and that's like God inspired them to make that music. Like for instance, I like Phil Collins. I love his music. I love his sound. That synth wavy sound he's got. He's still alive. I don't know if he's a Christian or not. And a lot of his music, it's not overtly like he's not singing about impure things most of the time, I think. But is God using him to make art for his glory, or is he making music that's serving the devil? And if he were to pass and his soul wasn't saved, like obviously we don't know where a person ends up, but should we even be entertaining music that we know that person did not really love God or showed love for God? And then I just think, like, is that person's life like completely wasted? If someone, if a famous musician, let's take like Elvis Presley, he made music, iconic music for the world. The world knows Elvis Presley, and we don't know if he's in heaven. And a lot of his music is impure. We might think of it as more wholesome now because we're in modern times compared to his time. It has gotten so bad that we think Elvis is like wholesome music. But at the time there was a big concern with the kind of the swing dancing and the hip swinging and stuff. But now we've accepted it as like that's wholesome music. And people will remember Elvis as like forever on this world, but he may not be in heaven. And should we be glorifying someone that made music like that and is not? Should we be glorifying that the music he made if that person's not in heaven? Even if it was not sinful or not impure? I don't know. Do you get what I'm trying to? Does that make sense? So I struggle with the art of and the artist. I guess God uses people to inspire others with art, and that person, even though he used the gifts that God gave him for good, that person may not be saved. And so I guess the art itself still glorifies God, even if the artist did not. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. I'd like to hear your thoughts more on the subject. Again, I like to play music, I like to play guitar, but I just don't know how much it's worth sticking with it if it's not glorifying God. And what type of sound glorifies God? I don't know. Father Ripperger says that he says that the two best instruments are your voice, the voice, and the organ. I think those glorify God the most. And you hear about the choirs of angels. I think Satan was the highest degree, the highest choir, and he probably played beautiful music. And that's the thing with music, it can entice you, and it can entice you to hell. That's why I'm worried about music. So I don't know, but then there's music that is good. So I don't know if it's the vibration, the tone, the sound, the octaves, the chords that go together, the minors, the majors. Obviously, like, I think classical music is good and it's like rightly ordered, but I also like rock and roll, and the distortion in the guitars, is that, I think about, is that the type of music that would be playing in heaven? Or, in dancing too. What should our dance be like? And people might say, well, it's okay to listen to that music. It's not sinful. But like, wouldn't we want to emulate heaven on earth? And so, like, when you go to mass, when you go to the TLM and you hear Gregorian chant, shouldn't you just be listening to that because that's what glorifies God? Obviously, we know playing the guitar and having the drums just doesn't really, in my mind, glorify God in mass. So like, if it doesn't do it in mass, but it's okay not in mass. Like, why even bother? Why even bother? Well, those are my thoughts today. I guess I'll end the video here. Hope you're all having a blessed day. Day is full. And I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.